Earlier this week, over the weekend, there was, when was it? It was the weekend, wasn't it? An exclusive. So they've had a few exclusives this week. The exclusive of Tory Whanau stepping, well, not stepping down, not seeking re-election as the mayor of the Wellington City Council. But prior to that, the Herald did an investigation after they discovered that there were people who had failed. I don't know how many. There were three mentioned, which is not a lot. That there were people who had failed the physical tests, but who had been given approval to start training at the police college anyway. And that this in turn led to an audit, or is leading to an audit, that the Assistant Police Commissioner, Tusha Penny, which is an unusual name, isn't it? Tusha, said that the police had recently discovered that three applicants were approved and that they're going to do an audit of them all, and whether or not there had been more than that. According to the Herald article, police sources, the Police Association, and the Labour Party believe that rules have been modified because of pressure from the government to get 500 extra police by November of this year, a policy described as a priority by the coalition government when it made the announcement in May last year. Although we've had on the show, I think the Minister of Police saying, Mark Mitchell, it's pretty obvious they're not going to reach that at the end of the day, but is that in the turn leading to a diminution in the quality of police recruits? Joining us to talk about that is, I think, the Vice President of the Police Association, Paul Ormerod. He joins us now. Paul, thanks for joining us this afternoon. Lovely to have you on.
Good afternoon, Michael.
Paul, listen, first of all, about police training. I know that there is a place at Porora that trained them. There's a police college there, but apparently they had some problems with, I don't know, weather tights or earthquakes or something like that. You've got another place in Auckland that trains police too, is that right?
There's a new initiative from the Commissioner that is meant to start, we believe, end of June. And they're looking at Massey University as a facility to train a specific Auckland-based wing. It won't be residential there, so they'll just go during the day and then they'll go back to their homes at night. So that's an initiative that the Commissioner's brought in to really open up the pool who possibly couldn't go to Porora and spend 20 weeks down there.
Okay. Do you believe, or does the Police Association have a view on those? I think it's, somebody's just said, I think it's 8 now that they've found who have failed the police physical but still given access to police training at Porora. Do you believe that's as a consequence of direct pressure from the government?
Well, the government's, they've given a specific number, and if there's a specific number given to anything, there's going to be ways to try and achieve it. We weren't aware of those 8 before this came about, and we are very pleased that the Commission is doing an audit to find out if it's just those 8 and if it's just the PAT test, or has there been softening of other aspects of entry into the police force. We don't know yet, and until that audit is completed, it's a bit hard to comment.
Listen, I remember about a decade ago, I think I was the mayor of Whanganui, it might have even been longer than that the police college was softening recruitment procedures for Pacific Island and Maori people because they were barely literate, and some of them couldn't even write, which was going to present a bit of an interesting issue for you when they were writing up their police reports. You've relaxed the standards in the past, haven't you?
Well, when you say you, I mean we're the police association.
I mean, well, the police, as in the police.
If you want to talk to the police, yes, they've over the years softened a number of aspects. The PCT used to be a requirement, which is the 2-year test that all sworn officers have to do. That they don't no longer have to do that to get into college. They've started accepting lower levels of offending. There's no swimming certificate anymore. The restricted driver's license you can apply, but you need to get your full residency versus citizenship was another one. And the merits of the PAT, so it used to be a pass-fail. and now there's a points matrix. So they've slowly softened entry requirements over the years.
And that's is a large, Paul, I assume that's as a result of it's been difficult to recruit the kind of people that the police want to recruit for, well, years, decades now.
Well, we believe so. We believe there's a recruitment and retention problem. If you have to, if police are saying, well, there's 5,000 people applying, but 10% of those are your cream of the crop, and they will only replace officers who've left. So that's cost neutral before they even start looking at where else in the pool they can get quality applicants.
So take me through this. How many sworn police officers are there now? What about 9,000? Is that right? No, it's more than that, isn't it?
It's about 10,200, 10,180.
Okay. And because we're playing this game about numbers, yes, you're right, 10,211, apparently, as of January 2,139 as of January the 27th, 2025. So if we're going to play this game, we're meant to have, 500 more than that at November of this year. Is that right?
Yeah, it was 500 more than when the national government came into power, it was about 10,270. So,
okay, right. So we're going the other way at the moment.
Yeah, we're just replacing officers that are left at the moment, essentially. And that's the problem, is the retention of experienced staff. So if you've got 500 plus leaving every year, some are going to Australia, some are just have had enough of the bureaucracy, and some are even just going to mow lawns just to get out of the sheer stress of the job. So once you've replaced those 500, you have to look at the pool to find, well, we need another 500, and that's pretty hard to do.
Yeah, I'm interested in that. Has any analysis been done that you're aware? Surely the police are doing it, if not the Police Association, as to why and where people are going? Like, for example, how's that campaign to attract police officers to Australia going? How many have we lost as a consequence of that?
Well, there's statistics from police and there's statistics that we found, and it keeps changing every week. We've spoken to Queensland, and they believe they had 100 have gone over in the last few months. District commanders and or area commanders should be having a talk with everyone who leaves to find out why they're leaving.
Yeah.
As an association, it's hard for us to see who is leaving because they could stay on our books as membership in regards to welfare. So it's quite hard to get those lists, and then we'd have to find out why they're leaving. So we kind of rely on police in that regard to see the exact reasons, but it can vary.
Yeah, as I say, I would have thought sort of basic number one job is to work out who's leaving and why, because that then identifies what your problem is and how to fix it, yeah?
Yeah. But it's hard to get as a union those numbers and those reasons. Pay is definitely one of them. We do get some feedback, and we have our surveys that go out to staff to find out what they're most worried about. Paying conditions is one of them. We have a pay round coming up next year for sworn staff, and we have a pay round coming up very, very soon for police employees.
Okay.
So
all right. So somebody's made this point. They said, what's the big issue here? What if these 8 were perceived likely to pass the fitness test by the time they're done at Paurua? Fitness is something surely you can easily work on. What's your response to that?
Well, you've got to have minimum standards, I think, for anything, Michael, and it goes against policy to admit those people to college. College is a pretty stressful environment, and the last thing you want to do is also work on your fitness and have that in the back of your mind that you haven't achieved the minimum standard already, and you're going into a high-pressure environment where you have to learn a number of tasks. So that's just an added issue to 20 weeks of hard work that you don't want. Plus
I always thought physical exercise, or at least physical training, was part of that 20-week process. It was an integral part of it. Not so?
Well, no, it's more actual training and muscle memory. So you'll have there's baton, taser, handcuffing, empty hand tactics, the PCT, which is now part of your physical training. And now we know that because you don't have to do that to go in, officers are now getting injured. So recruits are getting injured because they haven't done it before. They're not used to it. They're not up to that fitness level. So all of these things are a barrier to you learning, and especially if you're injured, that could put off your graduation, and it has a number of flow-on effects. So absolutely we need to have those minimum standards, and absolutely you don't want to be worried about fitness when you've got 20 weeks of other things to worry about.
No, okay, all right. 20 weeks, it's a pathetic amount of time trying to, is it, how did they arrive at 20 weeks of training before you go out there and you're doing a job as a probationary constable, I presume?
Yes, you're a probationary constable, and 20 weeks gives you a pretty good level base to start from, and then you have probably 18 months to 2 years to do a number of modules to get experience, to go out, and then you get what's called a permanent appointment. So that can take around 18 months to achieve.